What's up everybody, it's Cosmo the Cody here and welcome to this week's Humble Bundle review. This week we're going to take a fairly quick look at the Humble Civilization bundle. Now the reason why we're going to take a fairly quick look at it is because it basically contains every Civilization game from the turn of the century till now. Well, almost, I'll get to that in a minute. And basically if you haven't played a Civilization game, they're basically turn-based 4X strategy games, where you basically play as someone who's controlling a civilization, oddly enough, and you have to advance it through technology and different ages. Basically, it's kind of sort of a Sim City, but where you have to actually advance things slowly over and take turns. You can declare war on other people. You get the sort of general gist of it. And that theme pretty much continues throughout the entire Civilization sort of throughout the entire series. So there's no real point in me going into the whole sort of this game does this and this game does that, because basically I'd be repeating myself over and over and over again. Now the series is extremely well established, so basically these games are extremely well received for the majority of them. I'll tell you where and upon they're not, but basically I'm going to tell you the price of each one, how well it's received, and if there's any real sort of problems with it. So first up, pay $1 or more and you get two games, Civilization 3 Complete and Civilization 4 Complete. Both well received. Civilization 3 is about £3 or about $5. Good reviews. Reviews are sort of 85% recently, 89% overall, and 90% on Metacritic. Considering the game's almost 16 years old, and it's still receiving exceptionally high reviews, it should tell you something. The same goes for number 4, because it's got some fairly good reviews, although recently the reviews have been quite damning, because it's gone down to 64%, but overall it's 92% overall and 94% on Metacritic. It's currently £15 for the complete edition. I couldn't find a dollar amount because SteamDB breaks it all down and it doesn't really work out that way, but it's about $30, give or take. Moving on to the green tier, basically you get Civilization 5 and all the DLCs for it, and then you get 2 vouchers. One for Civilization 6 at sort of vanilla, and then the other one for Civilization 6, the digital deluxe version, which basically gives you all the DLC that's currently been released for Civilization 6. Now, I'll deal with the vouchers first of all. Unfortunately, Civilization 6 isn't that well received. It's currently sitting at about 50% recently, 77% overall, and 88% on Metacritic. There's a lot of criticism about the AI. Apparently, the AI has a nasty habit of declaring war on you and sort of chopping and changing whether it likes you or dislikes you, and hence why it declares war on you. And a lot of people don't really like it at all. They prefer Civilization 5 compared to this. So it has its issues. Now, price-wise, you're looking about £50 for the vanilla edition and about £60 for the digital deluxe. Now, that's before the discounts. So if you figure it out, you're basically getting about £8 off this one, and it does the math very quickly, about £15 off of this one if you do digital deluxe. So you're basically looking at about £40-ish for the first one and about £45 for the second one. So it's kind of annoying in a way that it gives you vouchers for something, but I can understand why, as it's kind of the most recent Civilization game and it's not really something they want to include in the bundle, I think, at least not to bring it down too much in price. So I don't like vouchers much in bundles, but that's just my opinion. Anywho, let's have a look at Civilization 5. Again, good reviews, fairly good price. It's £20 for the actual vanilla game. The reviews are 93% recently, 96% overall, and 90% on Metacritic. And the reviews pretty much follow suit through the actual DLCs. The first one, Brave New World, is both of them are £20, or about $40 each, and have exceptionally good reviews. The DLC pack basically contains a sort of collection of all the other little pieces of DLC, which sort of range from sort of £5 to £2. So it basically contains all the sort of different extra little bits that sort of were added on to the game over time, sort of extra islands, extra civilizations, extra scenarios, and so on and so forth. So it's a good price for a lot of content, really. Finally, then the blue tier, and we move into the sort of a game that sort of tried to change the civilization system a bit by sort of taking it out of known civilizations, if you want, and sort of put it into sort of beyond, well, like I said, beyond Earth. So basically you travel into space and start building your own civilization using new technologies, alien technologies, and sort of trying to build sort of colonies out into space. Beyond Earth is currently £30 on Steam. In general, though, these games are not really well received. One of the biggest problems with it is that they find it to be too unimaginative. Basically, it's kind of, like I said, it is the civilization game, but because they basically just sort of try to sort of change it in a way that makes so they can sort of use different technologies and different sort of stances. It's just not. It's something that people sort of find a bit boring and a bit sort of convoluted, because it's basically the whole of the civilization game, but just in a different setting, if that makes sense. And the same goes pretty much for the DLCs as well. Although they do add content to the game and extra scenarios, it's basically the same thing over and over and over again. The map pack is basically £2, and the Rising Tide expansion is £25. The Rising Tide actually is a bit more well received than Beyond Earth, which is pretty average. I think it's 61% recently, 52% overall, and 81% on Metacritic. So although it's kind of well reviewed in Metacritic sort of standards, players sort of complain a lot, like I said, about it being very similar to the other Civilization games, despite this change in setting. Whereas Rising Tide has got 81% overall and 79% on Metacritic, so it kind of adds to the sort of overall sort of theme to it. And like I said, that's pretty much all I'm going to give you in terms of this. Now, in all honesty, this isn't my kind of bundle. I'm not a big turn-based strategy kind of person. I do play the odd one here and there, and you can see by the counter it's selling quite well. The thing is, the other problem I got is that they did have a Civilization bundle like this some time ago, because I think I pretty much own everything apart from sort of Civilization 6 and Beyond Earth. So if I was to go for it, I pretty much would have to go for blue tier. And because I'm not really into my turn-based strategy sort of games, this is definitely not something that makes you want to buy it. But overall, price-wise and game-wise, you're getting some really good games for quite a good price. So I will give it at least I think a fair 7 out of 10. Saying that it's quite diverse in that it's going to basically you're into those kind of games or you're not. And if you're not into this game, this is definitely not the bundle for you. If you are and you haven't got some of these games, then it's definitely worth the price. Now, I didn't review last week's bundle, which was software for PC lovers, for the obvious reason in that it's basically software. There's no real games or any real use of it to gamers, and in general, I don't like these kind of bundles anyway, because it basically gives you, as you can see, a limited sort of license sort of thing. Some of the actual sort of lifetime licenses stuff is quite nice, and I'm sure some of them are very useful in terms of, AirParrot, which is sort of a streamable system or sort of remote desktop sort of system, Partition Master, which is pretty useful for managing your disks and everything, and Daemon Tools, which I use a fair bit, the free versions anyway, depending on what I'm doing. But pretty much everything else is it's not for me. I wouldn't really use half of what is there, and if I did, I'd probably be using free versions, and I wouldn't want to sort of pay out for a license or use a license and then have it renew on me without me actually noticing, because that's what a lot of this stuff does do, unfortunately. Apologies also for last week because I didn't actually review the Humble Freedom bundle that did exceptionally well. If you don't know, it actually raised like $6.5 million because it was like $30 for over $600 worth of games. And if you didn't get it, then I hope you realised that it was actually an exceptionally good bundle, despite the fact that it actually ran out of keys for certain things. In general, I basically looked at it and thought, wow, that's a really good bundle, a really good deal. I hope people actually think so and actually buy it, especially considering the cause that it was sort of supporting, which is a very worthy cause. And I always forget to mention it, and I always beat myself up saying, you must remember to mention this is for charity. The whole of Humble Bundle is for charity. It's a really good cause in terms of, getting people to sort of buy game bundles for charity. And I always forget to mention it, and I really should. The whole purpose of this bundle is to give you an idea of what games you're getting, not to sort of say you should only spend the minimum amount of money you should to get the games, because at the same time you are supporting the charities, and that's always important to mention. Right, I think that's about it. Don't forget, next Friday, a week Friday, is the next Humble Monthly, where they're offering Total War Warhammer. You can, like I said, 9 days left until it actually rolls over into that thing. I will be doing my review hopefully the Saturday after that, but we shall always see. And that, as he says, is pretty much it for me. So, thanks for watching this video. Like and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me, and let me know what you think of this bundle or this review in the comment section below. I'm cosmoplaysgames, and I'll see you next week for hopefully another bundle. Until next time, happy gaming.